Like the tablet is different than the instructions I've provided. Is that correct? Well, so it could be that the instructions that I've done are the most up-to-date instructions, but there could be some devices that are running older apps or older operating systems that may be slightly different. I just want to show them where the information is and go through the information. More what I want to know is, like, again, I've created all of this, right? So I don't have enough time in the day to go through and update every single little thing. It's friggin' impossible, right? Massive companies that all they do is build software packages can't even keep up with Microsoft's changes, right? So if you guys are having a problem with the instructions, I need you to let me know. You got to tell me, hey, I got to this screen, I'm on step, you know, if you're on step whatever, let's just pick you're on this step here, permissions required. So I'm on step 8. Hey, it doesn't look the same, it's asking me for something different. Take a screenshot of it, send it in the group chat. What am I supposed to do here? It probably doesn't look the same for me. I could look at it on my phone and it could be totally fine, but if I'm on the tablet, if I'm on one of the newer tablets, it might be the same as my phone, but if I'm on one of the older tablets, it could be different, right? Like, it's impossible for these instructions to be correct for every single device. There's just no way a business our size could ever hope to manage that, okay? So if things look slightly different, then you need to ask about it. The other thing is to just understand that, you know, these instructions are more or less what has to happen. If it's asking for permissions and the email won't work if you don't give it permission, then it means that you have to give it permission in order to add an email, right? It's just how it is. So you kind of have to, read some of this, and you're going to have to sometimes infer that, okay, yes, the permission that it's asking for doesn't look exactly the same as the one in the instructions, but clearly you have to give permissions, otherwise the emails don't work, right? I don't know any other way to explain it than that. And if you can't figure it out and you get stuck in a spot, I need to know where that spot is so that I can go specifically and look at where you're having a problem and try and figure out what's going on. If you just tell me the emails don't install, it's like, okay, why don't the emails install? Like, are they spelled properly? Is the password correct? You know, like, what's going on here? That would be the first thing to look at, right? So passwords. So first off, passwords for the tablets. I hope you all know now. I've changed all of the screens. Oh, this one has no screen. That's what happened to the other ones too. So that's what it's supposed to look like, right? So we've got this new Meraki thing that I've been trying to implement, which is also a complete nightmare. That's not what it's supposed to look like, right? So the idea here is that I've put this in. This says TDM tablet 4. The passwords are always TDM and then the number of the tablet, right? So no matter what tablet you have, T is 8, D is 3, M is 6, this is tablet 4, boom, I'm in, right? So that's what it's supposed to be. So anyways, so passwords for emails. This is where guys get confused. So we all know, I hope, in the Dropbox that there's job numbers for everything, right? So if you are in here, TDM 2023-018 is the job number, right? TDM 2023-031 is the job number. TDM 2024-015 is the job number for these specific projects. So I always give the number and then I give the name of the job, right? So when you're in these instructions and it says to put the password in, the password is always capital T, lowercase dm, then it's the number. It'll be 2023, 2024, 2025, depending on what year we're in. Then instead of a dash, it's an exclamation point, and then it's the job number, right? So whatever the job number is. So that's how I always update the passwords. Now this does get a little more complicated when we're doing a TDC job. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but I also own 50% of a fixturing business, Third Dimension Fixturing, right? So those guys will sometimes be on the job site at the same time we're on the job site, and so then there'll be a TDC job number. So If you look in TDC active projects, which again, you guys will never see this, but you'll see this one job, TDC, instead of TDM, 2024-002, Safeway Chestermere, right? So for this one, again, you'll have another folder for job numbers and TDC project numbers, and you'll have this master spreadsheet. And this gives all of the job numbers. So for 2024, you just go down and you find the job that we're looking for, which is right here. This is Chestermere. So you can see TDM 2024-009. That would be the number that you would use for the email, right? And then for the fixturing guys, it's TDF 2024-010. So we're 9, they're 10. This is 2 separate contracts, 2 separate businesses, 2 separate payrolls. It's all completely separate. But if you're on a TDC job, this is where you would find the number. We have probably, 3 or 4 a year at most. You know, if you look at the number of jobs that we ran last year, we got up to 37, right? So, and we had 3 jobs last year with TDC. So it doesn't happen very often, right? I don't even need you to remember to go to this spreadsheet. What I need you to remember is that when it's a TDC job, it's going to be a different number. If you need to put in the group chat, hey guys, what's the job number? We're trying to add the email, or ask me if you're in the shop. I'll walk you through how to do it. I just need you to know that it's different, and remember to ask the question so you can get your emails added in if it's not exactly the same as the way we normally do it, right? So there's always exceptions to every rule. Mostly what we need you guys to know how to do is the things that follow the rules. And then you need to understand when there's an exception, you just have to ask a question, get clarification, because you don't even want to know what the emails look like on the back end to try and set one of those things up, right? Like, I figured it all out how to do it. I can't even remember half the steps when I come back after 3 months, right? Like, I have to relearn it every single time. So there's no way you guys are going to remember all of these steps after 3 months. That's not our expectation. Our expectation is that you understand there's a way to do it and that you just don't know what that way is because it's been a year since you've had to do it, and you're going to ask the question, right? That's what we're trying to get to. Back to the shared emails. Does that sort of answer your question? Yeah. Okay, so we can, again, for the installers, because I have been getting feedback that the emails aren't adding or that they refuse to mount. It does happen sometimes, right? Sometimes it's server issues, it's back-end issues. Sometimes it's your tablet's not updated. Sometimes it's just clerical error. And most of the time that's what it is. If you do a capital T and a capital D and a lowercase m, guess what? The email's never going to add, right? If you put a space in by accident at the beginning or the end of the email address, it's never going to add, right? Like, if you don't spell third dimension millwork properly, it's never going to add. I can't tell you, like, I understand that it's frustrating. There's been times when I've been ready to throw my phone through the wall, and then I come back and I look at it the next day and I'm like, oh, I spelled it wrong. Am I ever an idiot? You know, like, I get it. You just want it to work. But at the end of the day, if you don't put the right information in, it's not going to work. So, you know, as a method of problem solving, the first thing to do is to check that you haven't made any mistakes before, you know, we start looking at other things that could be causing the problem. Okay?